Hello everybody. Welcome to Friday with Dannphan. We're going no cam for this particular Friday. Recording in a different spot, and I don't really have a good background set up. So you know what? No cam. We'll just do it a little casual voice chat. I mean, basically all we ever do is chat. I don't do much visually with the Friday with Dannphan anyway, so it all works out. Hopefully everybody's had a good week. Ah, that's just the dog. He decided, he heard me talking and he's like, oh, now is the time to come say hello. Alright, we'll go over, of course, status of Reaper Book 2. 14 more days left on the Kickstarter. Very good stuff. And let's see, we also have on Fund My Comic, it's staying open for much longer, but keep in mind if you don't have a Fund My Comic account, don't want to make a Fund My Comic account, then really the only place you're going to be able to get it at would be Kickstarter. So pick your poison, pick one that you can back on, and go check out book 2 of this fantastic comic series. Thank you. So let's see, something wrong with your camera? No, just recording in a different room, and I don't have any kind of background set up. It's actually just kind of a pile of trash behind me right now. You know how it is. But it's just one of those things where it's like, well, what do I need the camera for anyway? So I'm not visually going to be doing any, like, tricks. I'm not going to be doing cartwheels for Friday with Dannphan. We might as well just chill. Pull up stuff on the screen. Anything new happening? Can't remember the last time I heard any genuinely interesting news when it came to media type stuff. What was the last movie that came out? Thunderbolts? Don't know what the fuck that even is. There was no chance I was ever going to watch that at all. But yeah, I guess that's what people are talking about. I guess that's what the latest reviews are about Thunderbolts. I have nothing to add to that, you know? I was never gonna watch that. Oh, you know what was nice? I went to a convention. I went to Garden State Fest last week, and that was very nice. We had a good time. We got put in a good spot. We had a much better setup than last time. Got to meet a bunch of cool people, sell some comics. Very good stuff. And yeah, even got to meet some other fans of the channel that I hadn't seen at other conventions. It's always good meeting new fans and hearing about, especially when they're artists, right? Hearing about what they're doing to try to get themselves out there and try to get better at art. It's interesting, seeing everybody's different journeys and, you know, what areas people are succeeding in, what areas not so much. But yeah, Anime Fest was pretty fun. It gives me a lot of hope for Garden State Comic Fest. It's the same people, which is why it's Garden State Anime Fest and then Garden State Comic Fest, which we are going to next. And then after that, no conventions for a while until like the end of the year. But those are the two that are our favorites, partially because they are fairly close since we're in New Jersey. So very helpful. You know, if you forget something at home, you can always drive and just go pick it up. But yeah, no cartwheels on this stream. Grand Theft Auto 6 trailer. Yeah, I haven't heard too much news about that actually. But once again, that's just kind of something that I was never gonna buy a Grand Theft Auto game. So I don't know. Is the new trailer super cringe? I think the last one was super cringe, right? They did something, I don't know. When Grand Theft Auto first came out, I remember my brother had it. And the only part about it that I really liked was driving around, you know? That's it. I didn't like any of the, like, beating up stripper things or or the story or anything like that. I just liked driving the car around. And, you know, I kind of realized that's really all I want in a game. All I really wanted was just a game where you could drive. And there's just kind of a bunch of games like that. So, yeah, I don't think I would call myself a Grand Theft Auto fan. I don't think I fall under that category. But where's Garden State Comic Fest? No, it's in New Jersey. Same thing with Anime Fest. They're both in New Jersey, both run by the same people. Did you get the green dot this time? That was a different convention. There's no need for green dots for these conventions. It's good. I walked in with high expectations and was blown out of the water. Just cinematics? Okay, so it's no gameplay, it's just like a story trailer. Gotcha. Let's see. What's a common trope you hear get criticized that you personally don't mind? The damsel in distress trope, I guess. That's the first one that comes to mind when somebody says that. I actually don't mind damsels in distress. I don't really see a problem with it. I think girls kind of want to be saved. Or at least, I mean, it depends, right? It depends on the girl. Some people are a little bit insecure about the idea of, oh no, if I need someone to save me, that means I'm weak, and I'm stupid, and I'm a bad person or whatever. But I don't think that's the case, you know? And I don't really think it's actually a problem in a story. But I don't know, does that even qualify as a trope necessarily? Because it's either like you do it or you don't. Or maybe there's something in the middle. I asked when, not where. Garden State Comic Fest. That's... Let me check my calendar. Ugh, it's in the summer. It's not July. June. June it is. Now you know. It's June 28th. Sorry. It's just when the, chat is jumping around, I can only glance at a message for a short while. Winter Soldier taking his arm out of the dishwasher noped me out of my already minimal interest in Thunderbolts. Really? That happens? That's so weird. Why would it be dishwasher safe? Who thinks of these things? Oh well. Speaking of games, I played Expedition 33 and got a bit depressed because the story is sad. But because the story and plot and characters were so similar to one of my comics, it was uncanny how similar. Oh yeah, you know, I've had moments like that where I'm writing a story and I'm like really excited about it, and then I'm looking for like other material to be inspired by, and then I read something that's like kind of similar to what I just wrote, and I'm like, oh man, I'm a fraud. I'm not so unique. Aw, darn it. But really, you know, the worst part about that is not necessarily that two people came up with the same idea. The worst part is that somebody out there is going to accuse you of stealing the idea. That's what drives me crazy. Is this the idea that somebody out there is going to be like, just a ripoff of this other thing I've seen? It's the same thing. Adam feels the same way. He told me this one story. He had a writing class, right? Because he used to go to, he went to college for a writing degree or English degree or, something of that nature. And one of his short stories involved a duel between two knights. And the only criticism that he got back from the person who read it was like, it's copying Game of Thrones because they also have a duel between two knights. It's like, well, you know that duels just kind of happened, right? Like, that's not a specific thing to Game of Thrones. Oh no, but like, that happens all the time. Where someone is just... They just relate It goes to show, actually, when somebody has not actually really read that much, or seen that many movies, or read that many books, they just can only relate these two things as though these are the only two things that have that story element in them, and therefore one of them must be copying the other. When in actuality, there are hundreds and hundreds of books where knights duel each other, and none of them are copying each other. They're just like reciting something that's happened throughout history and telling a creative story based on it. But I don't know. There's all kinds of reasons why people just want to draw those types of conclusions. I came up with a story 20 years ago. This game, to my knowledge, started developing 5 years ago. I seriously thought about not finishing my comic because of it. Aw, man. Sorry to hear that you're really down. But how similar could it be to not want to finish the comic? I mean, like, think about all the isekais there are. Have all these, like, isekais that barely do anything different from one another, but they still put it out there. They still finish it. I was listening to this one guy's comic advice, and he had some pretty good advice mixed in. Or it's good advice for someone, I guess, just starting, and they want some sort of, he called it like the commandments of writing comics, right? Very first rule was finish your comic. Like, do a complete story just so that you have at the bare minimum, the experience of finishing a story. And I really agree with that one. Partially because so many people out there will jump into like an ongoing series and they will never be able to finish it because of the nature of how they're approaching doing a comic. And so they'll never have that experience of telling a complete story, and they'll never figure out how to do it. You need that experience, you really... But yeah, number one rule, guys, finish your comic. Do it. Make it a short comic if you have to, but ending. That's the good stuff. Too much to say in this chat plus spoilers. Well, no problem. That's fine. I get it. Don't want to spoil, of course. But then, of course, if you're afraid of spoilers, that means that you do, in fact, have to finish it. It's got to be done. Oh, man. What I was doing before hopping on stream, like literally right before, I was watching more of Slayers. I finished Season 2, Slayers Next. Started Slayers Try. I don't know why Season 3 is called Slayers Try, of all things. Like, I kind of get, Slayers Next, okay, it's the next one. Why is it called Slayers Try after that? Slayers try, you know, we try again. And then the reboot was called Slayers Revolution and then Revolution R. And I kind of get that. It's like, okay, rebooting. It's a revolution or whatever. That's kind of normal, right? Dannphan, do you know about Arcaven Comics, their new site? And are they new? I feel like they've been around for a while. I reviewed at least one of their comics on the YouTube. I mean, unless I'm mistaking it for something else that just sounds very similar. Oh, okay. So this is different. This is webcomics? Why is it like this? Why does it look like this? Hang on, I'll show stream what I'm seeing. Yeah, why does it look like YouTube? Why did they do it like that? What's going on? Yeah, I was thinking, there's this other publisher that's called something very similar. Oh, I see we have image loading problems. Okay, so these, I guess, are the people on the side here. And then this is just like whatever popular based on whatever updated last. Okay, let's see. Sword of God. Let's do it. Oldest first, so that I can actually... Oh, it almost loading. Oh no. Yeah, you know, that is an issue with these kind of webcomic websites, is images not loading as quickly as they should. Oh no, not webtoon format. I hate webtoon format. It's garbo. Oh man. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Okay. Oh. Man, there's a lot of staring, huh? Oh, woo. Oh, you're gonna open it with a katana? Why? Oh, is that was in the... Okay, that was in the... Okay. I don't know. It's just like the way that they did this. I didn't even notice that the box was open. And what is this? Is this light peeking out of the box? What did you stab the box 7 times before opening it? Why? Oh man, this is already giving me entertainment. Okay. Alright, well that's Arcaven. So this is new then. Is there an About Us somewhere? Like, where can I get information? Does it let me scroll down, or will it just keep on loading things? I don't know. Chinese comics. Is this a Chinese website? I mean, probably, if it won't let me scroll down. So, yeah, Arctoons. Arctoons. Weird. I guess this is a thing. I kind of like global comics better as in terms of like visuals and how like the homepage is set up. It won't give me any information. It's just like log in. Yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. Go buy Reaper. Okay. Well, that was interesting. Let me see. Thanks for the 10, Mark. Dannphan rules for life. Nice. Now write my blog articles. Yeah, I'll get on that. Slayer's Try is a pun on Try for 3? 'Cause it's season 3? Man, it's not that good though. of all like puns to make. I don't know. I don't know about that one, yeah. Not feeling it. Oh, relatively new. 2 years now. Okay. Alright, because I thought I've seen this around. Authentic dial-up experience. Yeah, that is kind of what that was, wasn't it? Oh boy. And they also did a weekly podcast. They're always looking for people to join. They do translations in Chinese, but aren't a Chinese website. Swiss-based, I believe. Okay. Alright, sure. Hey, Michael, what's up? Sites that come after webtoons and the like usually have better UI, but hardly anybody uses their sites. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of different websites that try to chase the webtoon audience, right? But I don't even think webtoon is really that successful. So I feel like if you're going to try to grab the webtoon audience, you also sort of need to introduce something different about your site that will help it stand out, help make it more unique. And then even then, it's going to be really difficult to get audience from the webtoon to go onto your site now and check out your content, obviously. But yeah, you need something unique, and then you also you need to think about ways to monetize it better. A lot of WordPress sites do be getting shut down. Why is that? Shout out to Tapas. Oh yeah, Tapas is still hanging on there somehow. I thought it went out of business at one point, but they ended up rebranding. I don't know why they yeah. I mean, it's still hanging on there though. It still exists. And there was not Inker. It was some other one. Why can't I remember the name of this? It was a Chinese webtoon knockoff, but they also had some manga published on there. And I'm reminded of this specifically because they started getting anime deals from like actually the manga on there. And even though like the website did terribly financially, they somehow managed to get anime deals. I don't know how it happened, honestly. Trying to remember what it was called, because I watched one of their anime recently. Let me see if I can figure this out. I'm sure once I like Bilibili, that's it. Yeah, they did Bilibili comics. And I heard at one point that it was doing like really badly and it was expecting to like to shut down the webcomic part of their site. But now it looks like it's fine. But I really do. I remember one point people were talking about like how it was doing like really bad and they were expecting to just shut the whole thing down. So I don't know what happened exactly. There's like so Bilibili Comics was one thing, but the original Bilibili was a video platform, just to clarify. So maybe the comics site got shut down, but the video platform is still up? Maybe that's what happened? I'm a little bit confused. I don't know if there's any like information on that, but I remember Bilibili Comics. I think they even reached out to me for a sponsorship at one point. Let's see. Darkhaven's image loading problem is probably due to not having a resolution cap of what you can upload. Yeah, I don't really know the deep details on that myself. I'm not a big website person, but yeah. Webtoon forces you to do 800 pixels wide, and I think it's so the image segments load instantaneously. That's not what I heard. I heard that it was because they wanted people to use the app. It's like, for mobile view, I thought that was what they were trying to do. To make people just post, you know, like the Webtoon format with one panel at a time thing. Do you have any thoughts on the new Cyberfrog comics? Is there a new Cyberfrog comics? I don't know. Bilibili Comics shut down though, right? That's what I was saying. I thought Bilibili Comics shut down, but the video platform site is obviously still up. I'm just wondering how manga from like Bilibili Comics ended up getting anime deals, despite the fact that Bilibili Comics shut down. Because, you know, you would assume that means that the comics on there were a failure, but I don't know. Somehow they still got deals to get it animated. And that's not me saying that the anime that came from Bilibili Comics is bad. Not by any means. I'm just confused, like, how that happened. Like, I Have a Crush at Work, which is the English title. Originally it's called Can You Keep a Secret, I believe. That anime was from Bilibili. It was like a collaborative project with Bilibili and some anime studio. So I have absolutely no idea how that came to be. But yeah, I just remember the original Bilibili video site because it reminded me of Nico Nico Doga. And there was that spy anime they made. Did they make a spy anime? That's interesting. Does YellowFlash's comic interest you at all? No. No, I can't say that it does. I'm pretty picky with what I read. Gotta be honest. Probably had the deal before getting shut down. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, obviously the anime came out way later. way later than it shut down. So you can imagine my confusion when I knew that Bilibili Comics got shut down, and it was like, you know, yeah, it needed to be released 2 years ago. That the Colors one? Colors one. The Can You Keep a Secret manga? I don't know. Yeah, that is strange. If a story isn't liked in one medium, why would it be liked in another? I don't know. Maybe that was one of the only popular series on Bilibili, and maybe they just didn't have enough popular series. I have absolutely no idea. Anyway, I can always talk about Slayers. Oh no, the YellowFlash comics. I know some YouTuber made a comic about like colors or something, IDK. I don't... What is YellowFlash's comic? Now I don't even remember. All I remember is like I glanced over it and I wasn't interested. Let's see what we got. YellowFlash, here he is. Mighty Golden Patriot? Is that what it's called? Well, I guess that's what's tagged. No, is this another... where's the details? I can see why I wasn't really that interested in it. Yeah, okay. I wish there was more images. So it kind of looks Sentai-ish, but it's just another World War II story with like a superhero involved. So there's a good reason in of itself that I wouldn't be interested in this. Because like there's so many fucking World War II but with superhero now, you know? There's just so many of them. And in general, I'm kind of not super into the superhero genre at this time. I feel like I'm really burnt out on it. Sentai, maybe. This kind of looks oddly Egyptian for a Sentai outfit. Oh man. I think that's just how they styled the superhero outfit. I don't think that it's actually supposed to be a Sentai. I'd be into it if it were a Sentai. If you gave me a super corny Sentai, he's fighting aliens, and it's not during World War II, I think I'd be into it. But that's not what we really got. I don't think that's what we got. Hang on. American pilot finds himself shot down. Yep, okay. Hidden relic in the sands of Egypt that turns him into Yami, and he's gonna beat people at a children's card game. Alright, yeah, so he's fighting Nazis. He's fighting the Kung Fuhrer. Yeah, it's just it's not what I'm looking for right now, you know? I get it, I understand why these types of stories get made all the time. It's just not what I'm looking for, you know? It's other people, you know. Maybe that's what you're looking for. Go ahead and check it out if you are. But not for me and not right now. I'm super burnt out, you know. I'm kind of sick of seeing World War II stuff with superheroes in them. Also, gotta be honest, I've never really been interested in Egyptian aesthetics. Ever. Even when I was watching Yu-Gi-Oh, I was not into it. I was into the monster designs. Yu-Gi-Oh had pretty sick monsters, right? But like, the Egyptian horn? What is that fucking horn that they use at the beginning of like the Yu-Gi-Oh theme song? We don't know what that horn is called, but whatever Egyptian noises in the fucking asterisks. That, yeah. Never really been super into it. Let's see, it's inspired by Super Sentai. I think it's more Kamen Rider-ish than Sentai. Well, isn't that a Sentai? This is probably the newest Sentai thing I liked. I need to read the manga. More darker and edgier. He's got the heart of the cards. Hell yeah, he does. I haven't seen, you know, I was gonna say I haven't seen Power Rangers in the longest time, but at one point, just out of pure curiosity, I put on like one random episode from Power Rangers episode, just a Power Ranger, at one of the Power Ranger shows. I don't even remember which one it was, but it was terrible. I couldn't finish watching it. It was awful. So whatever that show was, not sure which one it was, but it was one of the American Power Rangers, and it was really bad right away, and I was like, man, never mind. It'd be fun to like try to find the original that I grew up on, and maybe it wouldn't be as bad. But I heard all sorts of like strange stuff about how, you know, quote unquote, the original American Power Rangers came to be. Like, I heard that they didn't have rights to even use the footage from the Japanese show. I don't know, is that true? Were they just using the footage without permission? and then like adding all this new content in there. Because that's insane. If they didn't have the rights to even localize it and they were just using like the storyline and footage from some show, insanity. But yeah, it's a whole other topic of discussion. Is there eventually going to be an omnibus of the Way Long Back? Yeah, so there is going to be a Volume 1 and Volume 2 collecting all the issues of the Way Long Back. Like, I think it was going to be 4 issues in each volume. Yeah, I think Volume 1 was already collected in a Kickstarter, but get a Volume 2 when the series is actually completed, and it's pretty close to completion. So, that should be fun. I love the Yu-Gi-Oh! Horn tangent. I don't know what the fuck that horn is! It's a very specific kind of... All I know is it's some kind of Egyptian horn. The latest Netflix Power Rangers, I believe, didn't have or rejected the rights to the original footage. That's not what... I was thinking about the first one, though. Like, the very first one that was localized in the States. I think what I heard, anyway, was that they didn't have the rights to that footage at all. And they just used it without their permission. Or, you know... Or maybe the copyright process just took too long to figure out, so they just started filming and then released it. Yeah, there's a lot of crazy stuff behind the original Power Rangers show. Yeah, I don't know, because I'm also hearing this, like, from other people who heard it from another person, etc., etc. But it is interesting because, like, oh shit, no. I don't want my childhood to be stained by that. By, like, this terrible story about how evil Americans stole footage from Japan. Well. I think they just added new footage for... That's what I always assumed. I just always assumed that the new footage was for the localization thing. But yeah. I will say, I enjoyed Slayer so far. I've only seen like 2 episodes of Slayer try so far. Slayer's try. And Slayer's Revolution just looks completely different because I guess it's the reboot, or not really reboot. I guess it's a sequel series. I guess they're all like sequel series. It is a little bit confusing though, because the first 3 series are basically just 3 seasons, but they're all called something different. They have a new name for it with every season. It's maybe a little bit confusing, because I thought they were all just tangent from each other. But you know, I enjoyed the first season. I would say I probably enjoyed like kind of the one-off episodes a little bit more, and then like the storyline plot was very whatever. And then the second season, I felt like kind of the reverse, where the filler episodes were not very good, but the story and plot-based episodes, I think, were where it shined. And surprisingly, we actually get a conclusion to the romance at the end of Slayer's Next, and then those motherfuckers hit the undo button. That's the worst. That's the worst that you can do. I don't know why. So many TV shows or anime or different series are so guilty of doing this, where they conclude something and then they're like, uh-oh, never mind, memory wipe. They don't remember kissing anymore. Haha, got ya. I tricked you, audience. I made you think there was gonna be progress. It's like, why? Why'd you do that? You can just continue the series. You don't have to undo anything. But no, I think a lot of writers treat their stories as though it's some kind of giant Jenga tower. And the moment that you remove like one block, they think that the whole thing is just gonna collapse. So like, if I conclude the romance, then I can't abuse this will they, won't they. So then the whole Jenga tower will collapse and nobody will watch my show anymore. Which is obviously not true, but I think maybe a lot of writers are insecure about that. It's the same thing with the whole Zelgoddess curse thing, right? Oh no, if I make Zelgoddess human again, then nobody will think he's cool anymore, and nobody will watch my show anymore. Jenga tower collapse, you know? I don't believe that. I think you can make it work. You just gotta be clever about it, honestly. So long as it's interesting, people will tune in. And if you can't figure out anything interesting, you know, you got a whole other problem than just that. My friends told me Slayers was innovative at the time, but because there are so many anime nowadays inspired by Slayers that subvert fantasy adventure tropes, it's kind of dated now. I don't think it's really that subversive, honestly. The only thing that's even remotely subversive about it is just that it's a comedy. But it's pretty, like, by the book, you know? It's a party of adventurers who go out and fight evil monsters. And that's kind of just the gist of it. I guess you could say that the main character being overpowered maybe would be considered subversive. And I think that's one of the downfalls of the show, is the fact that Lena does too much. She does too much, she solves way too many problems, and it makes it feel like she doesn't give the other characters enough room to shine. Because all of the characters are really good. All of them are really fun. But, you know, you need to give them more time to, like, have their moment in the spotlight. Lena can't solve everything. Although there is, like, that one episode where Gowri is brainwashed to being their enemy, and all of the sudden, he's, like, super fucking powerful, and he, like, takes on the entire party by himself. He, like, solos them all. And it's like, that's a trope that I don't like, is this idea that if somebody was brainwashed into working on the evil side, they would all of a sudden just be super powerful. It's like you're only super powerful if you're evil, but as soon as you, like, are working for the good team, you suck. It's like, what the heck? He's like blasting fucking light scars all over the place. Why weren't you doing this when you were fighting the fucking monsters? Oh man, it's funny. But yeah, they made Gowri seem so powerful in that one episode that by the time we got to the next episode, we had to put him in a crystal. He was too powerful. Not even the villain could use him because it would be too overpowered. Oh man. It's funny. And like, I'm watching Slayers try, right? And he still has, like, the ability to use the light sword in that way, but he's just not good at it anymore. Like, all of a sudden, he's, oh, doofus, uh-oh. There's no possible way I could actually beat villains anymore. I guess I better go on the evil side so I can get super powerful. I don't know. But yeah. I mean, I still enjoy Slayers. I think the biggest thing about it that is a huge pull for me are the characters, and you know, you get this sense of like, it really feels like a party of adventurers who care about each other, and they all bounce off each other pretty well. And they're all like really fun to watch, especially with the animation. The animation like really puts it to this other next level because it makes the characters so much more expressive. And I like it. I do. I like it. I have my critiques that I can throw, of course, but that episode where they had to sing was pretty great. And that was another filler episode. I didn't really like that one. Gotta be honest with you. That was not my favorite. It was a little bit too goofy for me. But, you know. I feel like X-Men had that Jenga kind of dynamic with the human-mutant tensions. Writers act like there'd be nothing to write if it was ever resolved. 100% right. You know, Marvel and DC Comics are super, super guilty of the Jenga effect. They're so guilty of it. And to be fair, it's not always the writer's fault necessarily, because when you have like a cinematic universe or any kind of like in-universe type of writing with a company of comics, you can't really do 100% everything you want to do, because there are certain like rules and guidelines that you have to, that they're strict about you sticking to. And sometimes it is just the writer being stubborn. Like the whole Mary Jane and Peter Parker thing. There's no reason why they can't be married. The idea, oh, they couldn't possibly be married, otherwise it wouldn't be interesting anymore. That's stupid. That's a really stupid take. It's really bad take, trash take. Because there was an entire Spider-Man run where they were married, and it was awesome. It was one of the best Spider-Man runs. One of the best ones, man. But, yeah. There's a lot of people who are just terrified of the Jenga effect. That if they change one thing within a series, if they change the status quo, all of a sudden their readers will vanish. They'll just disappear. And it's not how that works. In actuality, I think when you change the status quo, that makes a lot of people want to tune in. Like, if I hear something really important happened in a manga that I really like, that makes me go, oh shit, that happens? Oh man, I better catch up. I better start reading so that I can see that happen, right? That's the way I see it. Like, so long as it's all interesting, that's the main thing. You have to keep it interesting. But you can make it work. Yeah. Marvel do have an editor enforce these characters can't get married in a few characters. Yeah, it's so dumb. It's so dumb. Let's see. Is there a way to read the OG Slayers light novels? Anime flanderized several characters, but season 2-3 animation is top tier in case of expressions. I don't know. Honestly, I was looking up Slayers, and I found like the manga that they had done. The manga is like pretty different from what I got in the anime, but I didn't see anywhere to read the light novels specifically. Maybe there's somewhere out there where the light novels are preserved and in English. Spiteful Marvel writers. Yeah, right. It seems to be due to an editor's bad marriage in real life. Damn, shots fired. Maybe. I don't know. I know a lot of people out there who had a bad relationship in real life, and they use that as a reason for why they can't write successful relationships in their story. It's because, in their own words, they can't imagine a relationship that's happy. And I feel like, maybe therapy is required Not to be mean. I'm not saying that in a mean way. I'm just saying, like, maybe there's other stuff you need to work out. This, we're getting a little bit sad here when you say stuff like, I don't believe that a happy relationship is realistic. If you catch yourself saying something like that, maybe you need to work some stuff out. Maybe you need to find yourself, go on a journey, I don't know, go on an adventure and slay some monsters. There's light novel omnibuses for Slayers. Check Amazon for that. Okay. The Slayers manga is an adaptation of both light novels and anime, from what I hear. Interesting. Okay. I do want to finish the anime first, though. And someone also recommended the Slayers movie, which I would totally be down for watching. Man, there is a lot of Slayers anime to watch, of course, so it's gonna take me a while. But I would totally check out the light novels, compare and contrast and all that. Does Zell Goddess ever turn back into a normal human? Can you answer me that much? Do they cure Zell? Because, that's another thing that was frustrating about the second season. She finds the Clare Bible. She could have asked it, how do I cure Zell Goddess? She didn't ask. She just forgot about him completely. I mean, Zell how can he possibly be upset with her, right? She got possessed by a Dark Lord. But, come on. Dude's gotta spend his whole life with rocks on his face? Help the guy out here. Ah, God. And the new Ultimate Spider-Man series is doing well with Peter and MJ married with kids. That sounds nice. That sounds nice. It sounds sweet. I think a lot of people want to see that. Not even the Jenga effect, honestly. That's just people who don't know how to write something and make excuses, or make that their prime excuse for not writing it and not trying to write it. They're just like, I don't know. I don't know how to write that because it's not realistic, or whatever they say, right? But, yeah. Most comic writers probably should go to therapy. I don't want it to be evident in their stories that they go to therapy. Fair enough. There was that one DC run where they had the superheroes. It was a super weird comic, I gotta say. They had superheroes going to therapy, but it was an AI therapist that was recording all of their, sessions. It's fucking weird. And obviously, hey, villains, please hack this and find out everybody's secret identities and, their weaknesses. Just obvious red flag right here, But I never even finished that. I don't know where that goes. I assume that it goes to the villains taking advantage of that because, of course they would do that, but it was kind of silly. Let's see. It's hard to find comedy fantasy anime that doesn't turn into an overly dramatic mess. Slayers Next didn't really do that for me, to be honest. It did it for, I'm thinking of very specific episodes when I say that the one-off episodes were not as good. They were mostly hit or miss for me. Some of them I thought were pretty funny, and then some of the one-off episodes I thought were, really annoying. It's the dancing one was not my favorite. There was this one where they go into this mansion that's supposed to have some sort of puppet master, and then they all get dressed up in these really silly animal costumes for some reason. And I thought, man, that's ridiculous. Like, my brain kind of checked out because I had to look at them while they were in these silly animal costumes the whole time. Like, I like the comedy style of Slayers in general, but I like it because it's such heavy contrast to, like, how destructive these characters are and, like, all of the serious stuff that's going on in the background, and then you have, like, boom, silly comedy bit. I feel like that's a really good contrast. But when it's too much silly, it's difficult for me to still find it funny. You know? It's one of those things where I feel like there needs to be this balance, otherwise my brain just checks out. And I can't get invested like I could before. But overall, I still really enjoyed Slayers, of course. I just have certain aspects that I enjoy more than other things. Let's see. Many writers have problems that don't come into their work they always have. Sure, definitely. Silly filler episodes, probably what creates such a tonal dissonance with more serious main plot episodes. Maybe. Yeah. Well, like I said, in the first series, I feel like the plot was a little bit you know, like, is this guy really doing this much work just because he's blind? You know? It's a little bit much. But then, like, the random shenanigans that they went on, I didn't mind so much. I honestly can't even think of an episode from OG Slayers that strikes me as one that was ever too silly. It always felt like it was kind of just about balanced for me. And then Slayers Next, I feel like it was very hit or miss. Or well, not like it was a 50-50 thing. It was mostly home runs. It was mostly hits. But every now and then I feel like there was just an episode that didn't work for me. So, yeah. Overall, 2 out of 3 ain't bad, right? So, we're onward to Slayer's Try, and we'll see how I enjoy this series. And I gotta say, I could really use a good anime to get into, so I really needed this. Did I tell you guys I started watching Red Ranger in Another World not too long ago? And the anime was okay. But then when I went to start reading the manga, I was pretty disappointed. The manga went in a direction that I was not into at all, and then they tried to do the redeeming demons thing. And it's like, never do that. How about never again? I've seen it so many times. It almost felt like they were trying to throw shade at Frieren too, because they, at least in the manga that I was reading, the translation was like, oh, well, those are just monsters that have, you know, that use human language. And then one of the characters is like, can't you just also say that about humans? And I wanted to fucking slap her. I wanted to reach into my computer screen and just strangle her. Like, you don't fucking listen! But yeah, it's also like, why you gotta throw shade at Frieren like that? That's a great anime. Don't do that. Don't you steal a line and then be like, you're a hypocrite. Fuck you. Bitch. No. Yeah, I was pretty disappointed. But there are, not that there are no redeeming qualities about Red Ranger from Another World. I think if you just watch the anime, you'll have a good time. Gotta be honest with you, hot take right here, but I feel like whenever a manga series jumps the shark, I feel like it is the job of the anime to fix it. Like, they should just rewrite it at that point. If the manga jumps the shark, I give the anime full permission to just rewrite the story and make it good again. Often that does not happen. Very often, either an anime follows the manga to the T, or an anime completely fucks up the story, and then everyone says, oh, the manga was better, and everyone gets the manga, right? But I would be totally into it if whenever people were super upset at a manga, they just like get the best of the best writers to see if they can fix the anime. It's my headcanon. I've mentioned it before, but I actually kind of like the like Soul Eater. Oh my god. I don't know how the Soul Eater manga ends. I only know how the anime ends. I guess I should look into that. I asked somebody else about it, and they said, oh yeah, well, the manga has a real ending. So I guess I really should check that out. Honestly. But, yeah. Alright, you know what? We are done with the hour that I dedicate to Friday with Dannphan. I think we had some pretty good discussions. We talked about some fun things. Checked out a new comics website. Talked about anime and whatnot. So, as I've said before, go check out Reaper Book 2, which is funding now on both Kickstarter and Fund My Comic. Pick your poison. Links in the description below. You know, another fun thing, I got to do my part 2 of thrift store anime reviews. Yeah! Thrift store anime reviews, part 2. So if you want to check out the the latest and greatest video where I review 3 more anime DVDs that I got from the thrift store, go check that out. It was pretty fun. I reviewed Night Hunters, X-Driver, and then Blade of the Phantom Master. And I got 3 more DVDs, just kind of hanging out over there. I haven't watched them, but they're just in a pile for whenever the next thrift store anime review is gonna be. But that'll be really fun when I get to that. I guess I should try to figure out a good time to record another read-through. Ah, man. All the terrible comics that I have to read through still. And then after that, what else do I gotta do? I guess I gotta, maybe, because there's only so much time left on the Kickstarter, I should probably talk to some people about popping on to their streams to start promoting, or I mean, like, continue promoting. Oh man, imagine if I was just starting right now. But yeah, I'll have the first chapter, roughly, of Reaper Book 2 on Subscribestar this month. So if you are part of the, like, $5 subscription, you get to read early as I'm working on it. The links are also in the description for that. And I guess I'll see you in the next video or next stream, whichever comes first. Thanks for hanging out, guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye!